Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday, which means it's time for another Live at 5. I'm Terri, Head of Talent at VA Central, and I'm going to be answering some of our questions for our potential VAs. Let's jump straight in. Okay, so our first question we have is from Marissa. How does one apply for a job? So, your first step in joining VA Central is to send your most recent updated CV to myself at recruitment@vacentral.co.uk, making sure that you have gone through your CV, all your dates align, your formatting is correct, as we do send your raw CV through to a client later on in our process, should you be approved. And to make your subject line, whichever job you're specifically applying for, if it is a more general application, then just making your subject line either administrator, personal assistant, or whichever your profession is, as this does help speed up the vetting process. Then I actually have a similar question to this. What is the application process at VA Central? So the first step would obviously to be sending your CV through, and then it will go through our vetting process. Should you be shortlisted, we will invite you for an internal interview, which will either be with myself or our lovely talent acquisition specialist, Lindsay. This always happens on Zoom. It's not longer than 30 minutes. It's just to get to know you, go through your experience, and get a good feel for if you would be a good fit for VA Central. Should you move to the next process, we will run 2 most recent references. References are part of all of our applications, and it must be someone that's senior within those businesses that you directly reported to. Then, based on those references as well as your general interview, we will let you know if you've been approved. If you have been approved, we will then submit your application through to a client, and then it's up to the client if they would like to interview you. Should you be approved and it's more of a general application and we don't currently have a role available at the moment, you will be added to our database, and then it's just a matter of when the role becomes available, we will then go through the whole process of submitting you through to the clients. Then our next question we have is from Samantha. Do you employ people already living in the UK? And another similar question to this from Charlene is, can you work from outside of the UK? So Samantha, for you, you are already in the UK. We do predominantly bring on VAs that are based in South Africa. But as long as your working hours and the rate makes sense. So for you in the UK, you would be working the same working hours as your clients. You would just have to have a look if the rate does make sense with your living expenses already being in the UK. And then for you, Charlene, if you are not based in South Africa or in the UK, it's just about making sure that your time zones and the exchange rate makes sense in terms of earning and you being available in the working hours that align with the UK. Then our next question is from Roxanne. What is the best way to go about transitioning from an office-bound job to a VA? So the beauty of coming through VA Central is that we do assist you with this transition. It is a big difference working from home than going into an office, but we are here to support you every step of the way should you be approved. But the basics would be to make sure that you do have a dedicated working space at home. If you are in a client-facing role, it's advisable to have a dedicated workspace where you can close the door. It is distraction-free. And then also just making sure that you do have a stable internet connection as well as a laptop and any equipment that you need in order to do the role. But again, we do assist you with all of this in your onboarding should you be approved. Then our last question is, What is the application process at VA Central? Okay, we have covered that already. And then, will my application be declined if I don't have a laptop? So this is a question that I get quite often. And the answer to this is no. We will not immediately decline your application if you don't have your own laptop. But you need to be aware that should you be approved and you are placed with a client, you would need to get the minimum specs laptop and make sure that you have a stable internet connection before you start with your clients. I hope that these have answered your questions. Please keep them coming. We hop on every Thursday for Live at 5 to give you some more information and to help you transition into becoming a VA. Have an awesome Thursday evening, and I'll see you next time.